Drew McIntyre needs to get a lawyer, dude. I mean, justice for Drew McIntyre. Hashtag justice for Drew McIntyre. I mean, this man just can't seem to get a break, dude. But yeah, November 1st, Saturday night main event. Probably the worst one of the year so far. But let's talk about it. So Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed title was the opener for the show, just like I predicted in my predictions video, actually. But yeah, the match itself was pretty average. I think their WrestlePalooza match was way better. But they did actually try and play into the whole idea of, Drew McIntyre trying to get Cody to disqualify himself on purpose. How do you manage to get a stipulation into a match where if the champion disqualifies himself or if he gets counted out, you win the championship and you still can't seem to get it done? Like, what the hell? So the referee takes a bump and he's knocked out. And Drew McIntyre gets the title into the ring so he can take advantage and use that against Cody. But it backfires and Cody hits him with a DDT onto the title itself. And then the referee gets back up and Cody hits Drew with a crossroads and he wins the match. So what's Drew going to do now? He's probably going to come out on SmackDown and talk about how he was screwed over again. He's going to complain. He's going to whine. And, it's going to be the same thing with him. But this match was really unnecessary, in my opinion. This really doesn't do much for either of them. I hope the feud ends here, but I don't know, because you still have the whole Jacob Fatu thing. And I'm really thinking at this point that it might have actually been Cody Rhodes, and that's what they're gonna reveal in the next SmackDown, and I think that's the next direction we're heading towards. But I hope we're finally done with Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre, because this match was pretty bad. And yeah, we've already had 3 matches between them, and Drew just really couldn't get it done at this point. And yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot to say about this match. I mean, I guess we got to move on to the next segment. So the second match was Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton for the World Championship. And I like the fact that Jade Cargill really dominated most of the match. But this match only went on for 5 to 6 minutes, I think. 5 minutes. I mean, the Women's World Championship match only got 5 minutes on the show. And that was the only women's match on the show, by the way. And it only got like 5 minutes. I mean, imagine you're someone who went to watch this in the arena, right? You probably pay like hundreds of dollars for the show, probably even thousands depending on your seat. And you got a show that was barely 2 hours long. There was only 4 matches on the card, and one of them was 5 minutes long. I mean, that really says a lot about the state of WWE in 2025. Look, I'm glad Jade Cargill finally won a world title in WWE, but they really kind of played into the whole idea of Tiffany being injured throughout the match, so it wasn't really even a clean finish, to be honest. But also, Jade winning the title, that moment didn't really even feel like a moment, if you know what I mean, because it kind of felt like it's a little too late at this point. Because I've said it before on this channel and I still say it, Jade should have won the championship long ago. I think at SummerSlam when she first faced Tiffany. But now, after the heel turn and after them facing off against each other, I think a couple of times already, the moment's really gone. It's really lost, and it really didn't feel as heavy as it was supposed to. It didn't feel as compelling as it was supposed to. I really couldn't empathize with Jade at all. It was just a match that you thought, look, let's just get it over with, right? Because we knew Jade was going to win at this point. She had to, and now it's done. And hopefully, finally, we can move on from this storyline. So then we had the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship, Dominic versus Penta versus Rusev. And this match was pretty fun and entertaining, in my opinion. And relative to the other matches on the show, I think this was the best one. But again, you could have actually had this match on a random episode of Raw and it really wouldn't have made much of a difference, really. But there was a moment in the match where, Dominic goes ahead and gets a steel chair and he throws it at Rusev while the referee's not looking. And then when the referee turns around, he tries to act like Rusev hit him with the chair. But then the referee's like, dude, this is a triple threat match. It's no disqualification. So I thought that was a little fun moment. So at one point, Rusev gets Penta in the accolade. And before Penta actually even taps out, the bell rings, and that kind of disrupts the match, and Rusev thinks he's won. But of course, it was Dominic who actually rung the bell prematurely. And after that, there's a bunch of chaos, and somehow Penta ends up with the hammer that they used to ring the bell, and Penta tries to hit Rusev. Penta tries to hit Dominic, but Dominic gets out of the way, and Penta strikes Rusev, and Dominic gets rid of Penta and hits Rusev with a frog splash, and he wins the match. So I kind of find it funny how they still keep finding new ways for Dominic to keep cheating and keep winning in these matches. And I don't really mind, because I kind of really do like Dominic Mysterio as the Intercontinental Champion. I think he's funny and I think he's entertaining. I think Dominic Mysterio being himself was probably the most entertaining part of this show. But yeah, Dominic retains, and we move on. So then we get a video package where John Cena announces that there's going to be a 16-man tournament starting from next week's Monday Night Raw to determine the final opponent for Cena at Saturday Night Main Event on 13th December. And I think this was probably the most obvious route WWE could have gone ahead with. I think it would have been better if Cena got to choose his opponent by himself. But again, I mean, who's really credible in the entire roster at this point to face John Cena in his final match at this point? I mean, really think about it. There are rumors of Gunther possibly being the guy to face John Cena in his final match, but I'm not really excited about that. But if you think about it, if not for him, who is really credible in the current WWE roster? A friend of mine suggested The Miz actually recently when I was talking to him, and I kind of don't mind that because there's a lot of history there, and I think The Miz will really hold on to it for a long time, and it's going to be something that he's going to talk about, that he was the last person to face John Cena in his retirement match. So apart from The Miz, who do you think is really actually credible in the current roster to face John Cena in his final match? You could probably say Roman Reigns, but I don't know if they're really going to have Roman Reigns participate in the tournament itself. Edge is really the only person that you can think about when you think of somebody who is credible enough to face John Cena in his final match. But we all know that's not happening because Edge is not in WWE. And Jericho is still a wild possibility, and I would really be ecstatic if that does happen. But are they gonna get him on to WWE in time to participate in the tournament and have him win that and then face him? I think it's very unlikely. So it might actually just end up being Gunther in the end, and we're gonna have no other option but to be okay with that. But it is what it is. So just like that, we get to CM Punk versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. But before we talk about that, if you made it this far into the video, I'm assuming you like the content so far. So please leave a like on this video. It really helps the channel a lot. And if you do like wrestling content and movie content, please consider subscribing. Let's move on. So Punk versus Uso, right? This match was pretty average in my opinion, and WWE, I think they had no other option but to just do the best that they could with what they had after Seth Rollins' injury, right? But I think if we had LA Knight in place of Jey Uso, it would have worked way better. because Uso was never going to win the title on the show. So at one point, I think Jey Uso gets Punk into a sleeper hold. And I guess it's kind of his thing now. I guess it's one of his moveset, the sleeper hold. But anyway, Punk reverses it into an Anaconda Vice, and Jey Uso manages to grab the bottom rope. And after that, Punk hits Jey with 2 GTS for the 1-2-3. And finally, CM Punk is your new World Heavyweight Champion. And then you hear, "Burn it down." No, I'm just kidding. So I'm glad Punk could finally win a world title, and hopefully he gets a proper reign this time. And what's Jey Uso really going to do now? I mean, he went for the world title once again and he failed. So I guess the only other option you have with Uso at this point in terms of a storyline is to turn him heel. But I guess that's something we'll have to find out on Raw. So that was Saturday Night Main Event for you. I mean, the show was barely 2 hours long. It only had 4 matches, and one of those matches was 5 minutes long. I think this video could end up actually being longer than Jade versus Tiffany. So this show gets a 3 out of 10 from me. Maybe a 3.5 because Jade finally won the world title and CM Punk finally won the world title, and he gets to keep it for longer than 5 minutes this time. So yeah. Let me know what you thought about the show in the comment section down below. And who do you think should be John Cena's final opponent? Let's talk about it in the comments. But yeah, see you all in the next one. Like and share and subscribe. Peace.